谢谢 Benan 你好 That's it. That's literally all I know.
这是我会的全部的中文了。
Okay, so thank you for coming to our presentation today and to this event. We're going to be doing a talk about the audio in The Witcher 3. Can I first just see who has played our game?
那个欢迎大家来啊！先问一下大家谁玩过巫师3？
Okay, excellent. Thank you. That's quite a few.
好的，还是有不少的。
So, as many of you know, The Witcher 3 is quite a large game. And so we're going to just look at one important aspect of the game.
那我们都知道巫师3是一个很大的游戏，那我们今天只看其中的一个方面。
And so in particular, we're going to be focusing on how we used ambient audio to build the feeling of a living world in the game.
那我们今天所要说的就是看我们怎样去用这个环境音来去打造一个这个游戏内的鲜活的世界。
And also some of the systems that surround and tie into that.
还有包括一些这些周边的这种支持的系统，我们怎样去使用它们。
So Bainan's already introduced us. We'll skip this bit.
因为这个北南已经介绍过了，所以这边跳一下。
And I'm going to pass you over to our sound designer, Krzysiek.
那下面就交给 Chris。
你好。Okay, so as Colin mentioned, I'm going to focus mostly on ambiences today, and I'm going to start by taking a slower pace so we can translate it in the meantimes.
OK, so 那我们现在一开始呢，就由我先来给大家说一下。那为了我们这个翻译方面，所以我们会讲的尽量慢一点、耐心一点、慢一点，这个比较简单一些。先开始。
And hopefully this approach will allow you to like figure or think about what we are saying and prepare yourself for the Q&A that we would likely do after the presentation.
那希望这一段的这个演讲呢，大家在一边听的时候可以一边思考，这样大家可以准备一下，因为我们后面还有个问答环节，可以想想有没有什么问题要提。
Hopefully you're gonna have like tons of questions because we are way better in face-to-face contact and talking with you directly.
我相信啊，大家应该会有非常非常多的这个问题要问啊。那反正我们也是比较擅长这种面对面的沟通，所以也没有什么关系。
Okay, so starting up with Ambiences. When we started developing Witcher 3, we took some main assumptions and goals that we wanted to realize.
那我们先说一下这个 Ambience， 它主要的一个目标啊，就是我们在做这个巫师3的时候，它的音效是要有以下的这些特点的。
We started with the primary assumption or the goal that we wanted to achieve. It was to have a really, really dynamic soundscape and ambience in our game.
那我们一开始最主要的一个目标就是希望在游戏里有一个非常动态的，然后一个非常多层次丰富的这样的一种环境音。
By dynamic and detailed, we mean here it's very much handcrafted and it's very much living organism.
那我们所说的这种动态而且富有细节的意思就是说呢，要非常的精致，而且呢要让这个世界觉得非常的鲜活。
It meant for us that we will have to adapt to loads of parameters and loads of conditions in the game that actually influence how the weather and the ambience layer behaves.
也就是说呢，我们需要去考虑非常多的这个参数和不同的这个条件，比如说我们游戏里的这个天气啊，还有我们周围的这个环境音是怎么样的。
So we wanted to avoid staticness in ambience. That is a bit of simplifying for our realm, and we wanted to handcraft all the assets that were placed in the living world.
然后呢，我们也是用了这个 Ambience， 让我们的这个在游戏中的这个工作变得简单一些，而且我们也希望是自己来去手动来去制作所有我们这个里面的这个素材。
In terms of artistic vision, we aimed for a bit of dirty, grungy, and Slavic feeling, so that immediately when you start playing Witcher, you can feel that.
而且我们希望在这个做音频的时候，做这些音效的时候，有一种这种粗糙感，有这种粗犷感，所以大家在玩这个巫师的时候也能够有这种感觉。
We then took the approach of setting the ambience so it helps to convey the story, to tell what Witcher really is and what sort of world is he living in.
而且呢，我们也希望这个 Ambience 这个环境音能够让我们更好的去讲述这个故事，就更好的能够描绘我们的这个主角是怎么样的一个角色，而且描绘出他所生活的这样的一个世界。
So the basic two assumptions, the technical assumptions were to get the ambience be fast to implement and very, very easy to mix. So it meant for us a global approach.
而在技术上来说呢，就是说我们看最后2点，一个就是说我们希望这个 Ambience 能够实现快捷，还有一个就是易于混音，就相当于是一个我们全局的这样的一个目标。
So we divided our systems into like 2 major categories that are very global, and then we've added on top of that exceptions and custom rules of behavior.
那我们在我们这个系统里主要是分为2个部分，然后在这2个部分，就是我们这个风雨雷暴之上，我们再加上了一些这种特殊的特点，我们可以来去因地制宜，或者是按需覆盖。
So like in real world, what controls the ambience part is basically the wind or interactions of wind and the environment. And then the second part is rain, of course.
那我们在真实的这个环境之中啊，真正影响我们环境音的这个因素，主要就是风和风在不同的这个界面上所这个交互的声音，还有另外一个就是雨。
Then additional layer is thunder. When it shows up, it should control the weather as well.
那另一层就是控制天气的一个因素呢，就是说是雷电啊。如果说出现了这种雷雨的天气，也会去有这样的一个情况。
And while having that sort of global approach in the whole environment and that being placed on the level, we found out that we needed overrides to just create a way of controlling what we have in ambience layer.
那我们有这样的不同的这个声音层之后呢，有了我们的风雨，还有了我们雷电之后，有的时候在特殊的情况下，我们还需要去进行一些修改，或者说是添加一些不同的这个层级。
So we've created systems for overrides for local layer, local places, and systems for custom overrides for quest situations.
所以呢，我们这地方有2个，一个叫因地制宜，就是说是根据地区，然后有不同的这个地形来去进行这个音效的覆盖；还有一个呢，就是根据这个需求来覆盖，也就是说是有可能在任务之中需要一些特殊的地方要进行覆盖的。
Starting up with the wind. So it's a Wwise event triggered on loading the level.
而先讲风啊，风其实是一个全局事件，它是在游戏开始之后就自动触发。
So what you get on starts is an impression that you have all the time you have some ambience playing. You have no silence in between.
而我们在这个游戏开始之后，我们就会发现，其实基本上我们的环境里永远都会有一点点的这个风声啊，基本上不太会出现完全寂静的情况。
We achieved that with dividing the wind into a couple of layers, and we achieved that with the control of a dedicated parameter of wind intensity that tells what sort of wind are we dealing with.
而我们真正的把这个风做到的这个方式呢，就是说用多层的这个方式来去做这个风声，而且我们所控制的这个参数，这个 RTPC 就是 wind intensity， 就是风的强度。
The parameter is set by environment artists or quest artists, so it's really something dynamic that changes during your playthrough.
然后这也是由我们的这边控制这个环境的这个艺术人员，或者说是控制这个任务的这个设计人员来去决定它的这个参数的。所以说呢，它的这个风的这个模式也是多种多样的。
Further, we found that we need to introduce or reinforce the wind in certain situations, like for instance for horse rides.
后来我们也发现，有些情况下我们需要把这个风声进行加强，比如说我们在这个骑马的时候。
And then we wanted to solve the problems of setting up ambiences in interiors by creating a sort of bleed of global wind you have outside.
然后呢，就是说有些情况下，比如说在室内的时候，我们也希望能够听到一些这个环境音，就是风声，所以说我们就用了一种这种把风声漏进来的这种方式来表现。
Here is an example.
这里给大家做一个示范。
What you actually heard is the same type of wind reinforced in forests and controlled with a parameter.
那其实我们听到的这个风声，就是其实是一种风声，然后在这个森林里面的时候，它是得到加强的。
To show you that on Wise,
我来给大家在 Wwise 里面示范一下。
that's a series of blend containers. This is the global event plate on ones, like the global game object.
我们在这个风声的这个项目里面有很多的这个容器，比如说我们这个点上去的就是一个全局的一个风。
And it responds to wind intensity parameter.
它也是就是受这个风的强度 wind intensity 这个参数来控制的。
So it starts low.
一开始就比较小。
And it responds properly to parameters.
它是对于这个参数有良好的响应的。
So as you see, everywhere you go, you get the continuous ambience that you would have previously.
所以说你不管说走到哪里的话，这个风声它是一直会持续着的。
It's not static and it's not switching wave files on the fly.
也就是说，它永远都不是静态的一个状况，而且它不会是去在文件之间进行切换，它永远都是同一个。
The same principles were taken for the rain implementation.
那实际上这个原则也用在了我们这个雨的实现上。
So rain is played from start. It's always being there as an event.
而雨呢，也是游戏伊始就出发的，它也是一直这个事件是一直存在在游戏中的。
But it starts with the volumes of 0 or minus infinity in full scale.
或者说，但是呢，就是说这个雨一开始它的这个音量是0，或者说是负无穷大的。
It responds to similar parameter as rain as wind had, so it's rain intensity, and it's separated into 3 layers.
而雨呢，也是用一个类似的这个参数来控制，就是这个 rain intensity 雨的强度，而且它分成3层。
And as an addition in the last expansion, Blood and Wine, we've added the physics simulation of rain versus surfaces contact sound.
而在我们这个最新的 DLC 就是血与酒里面，我们加了一个新的这个要素，就是说是有一个物理的一个特点，就是说雨声和不同的这个表面材质的互动也是添加进去了。
So as you see, it's pretty much simple.
我们看起来也是比较简单的。
And you can hear additional layer of leaves contact in forests.
然后我们可以看到有这个雨声是有额外的这个层级，就是可以说是让它打到不同的这个表面上有不同的声音。
Or water.
刚才那个是树叶啊，现在是水。
We have some additional layers, of course, in the project, but due to the size, we just took only a small excerpt for you guys.
当然我们还有一些其他材质的这个雨声，但是由于这个文件大小的关系啊，所以我们就带了一个比较小的，就是给你们演示2个。
So basically, thunders are pretty much the same system.
其实雷电的系统也是差不多的。
With an exception that you might have special sounds, special ambient sounds with the visual effect triggered.
只不过是它加了一些额外的一些这个雷电的音效事件，它是由我们的这个视效系统来触发的。
What we actually found out that works very cool is to bleed the thunder into houses, interiors, caves.
我们发现比较酷的一点就是我们可以把这些环境音效去把它就是融入或者说是漏进一些这个室内的一些环境之中。
So one of the cool features of thunderstorms is having it inside of a cave. It sounds very cool.
最漂亮的一个就是说我们可以在洞穴里去听这个雷声，听起来是非常酷的。
So how did we go into precise spaces?
那我们来看一下，到底是在不同的空间里面怎样去进行这个精准的这个声音的再现呢？
So remember, you're triggering one event and then try to override it locally, so it's being controlled.
比如说我们触发一个事件，要在这个本地来进行这个覆盖，那我们来就可以这样去控制。
So we wanted to achieve a control over interiors and exteriors.
就是我们要控制它的这个室内室外的这样的一个切换。
Thus, we introduced two parameters that control it in real time.
那这地方呢，我们就引入两个实时控制的这个参数。
For special places or places in which normal control wouldn't be sufficient, we just added additional overrides.
那如果说是我们本来是有个全局的控制，如果这种普通的全局控制它是在一些特殊的地方不能够良好的去展现这个效果的话，我们会加一层这样的一个覆盖。
I believe Colin is going to go into detail and show you how we trigger ambience zones.
但是呢，我相信等会儿 Colin 会给大家展现一下我们到底怎样去触发这样的一个环境声区。所以说，等一下我们再听这个更详细的。
And here is an example of interior, how it works.
这地方我们就给大家展现一下这个室内是怎么表现的。
So what you just saw was the global approach without having to have or being forced to have a dedicated room tone for some of the interiors.
那这个我们刚才所说的就是一个全局的 override， 全局的覆盖，因为这就是一个普通的，就是进门出门，所以不需要一个额外的一个就是自定义的这样的一个覆盖，所以很简单，用全局事件就能全局的这个覆盖就能够实现。
The cool part about it is that when you have closed doors, you don't have that much bleed, but when you open the doors, the occlusion or obstruction system starts to kick in and starts to shut down the exterior sounds. And if you have opened the doors, you might even hear rain, wind, and all the exterior ambience elements.
这比较有趣的一点就是说，有没有门是比较关键的。有时候没有有这个门的话，它这个开门关门的时候就会有这种声障和这个遮蔽的这个效果出现。如果说没有门的话，就是在门开的时候，你还可以听到外面，如果有这个雷声或者雨声，都是可以听到的。
So custom overrides are the same as the local overrides, but those can be hidden.
然后这个暗虚覆盖呢，也是跟这个全局覆盖是跟这个本地覆盖是有点像的，就跟刚才那个因地制宜有点像的。但是这地方呢，就是说它是可以隐藏起来的。
So imagine a situation for this room. We have for one quest and phase that it's quite empty, and for the second quest it's full of people.
就比如说我们这样的一个房间，在一个任务里面，某一个阶段的时候它是没有人的，然后下一个阶段的时候可能又是人非常多的。
So basically, this means that we can use the same or copy the trigger or the zone and hide it with specific circumstances.
也就是说呢，我们可以去把同样一个区域的这样的一个触发器使用起来，只不过是就是把它隐藏起来而已。
That is only active in a certain when the certain conditions are met.
只是说是在某些条件满足的时候才会去触发。
Moving on to animals.
下面来说动物。
So for us, animals were very, very important. They have to feel quite real and have to be placed well in the environment.
对于我们来说，这个动物是非常重要的。它们第一点要让人觉得是非常鲜活的，第二点就是说一定要去融入到我们这个环境之中。
So we took great care to choose the proper birds and to choose the proper animals for their environment.
所以我们也是针对不同的这个环境来取了就是非常有针对性的一些动物。
We tried not to use animals that were from a different ecosystem.
就是我们尽量不去选，就是明明不在这个生态系统里的一些动物放到这个环境里面。
Like for instance, your crickets.
比如说我们这边的这个蟋蟀肯定不能放在那边。
Those are quite something.
就这边这个知了也是非常的吵啊，是不可能放在那个环境里面。
So it meant for us preparing the assets very in a clean manner, so they are without any sort of background noise or any noise, and they are not burnt into WAV files.
然后我们取这个素材的时候是非常就是纯的来取的，就是不带任何的背景噪音，然后来去把它存入这个文件之中。
And it meant for us that those animals have to behave like a normal environment, so they are controlled by wind, by rain, or by time, or even by how close are you to the actual animal.
那实际上呢，我们控制这个动物的这个声音也是有很多这个参数，它包括可以用风声控制，用雨声控制，用时间控制也可以，也可以由这个我们和动物之间的这个距离来控制。
We took the approach of implementing animals by emitter basis and by grade zone basis.
那我们是通过两种方式，一个是发声体，还有一个就是通过区域声音来去实现这个动物的声音。
And moving to Wwise, you can see how did we approach it.
我们可以看到 Wwise 上面我们是怎么做的。
So it responds to rain.
所以这边它也是可以响应这个雨的这个这个参数的。
It responds to time. It doesn't sing or produce any sounds when it normally wouldn't produce any sounds. Yeah, like.
就是平时的时候，就是根据时间这个参数也是一样，有时候平时它这些动物是不发声的。
And for some.
比如说鸟叫声啊。
See that in the distance, in close distance to the player, the bird will not sing at all.
就是说，如果要是距离很远的话，这个鸟叫声是完全没有的。
Just to show you how it sounds on the area zone, please take a listen to the crickets.
那我们来听一下这边的这个叫声，尤其是这个知了蟋蟀的叫声。
For this implementation, we used the areas and especially the Walla system that Colin's gonna explain you in a detail later on.
在这边我们实现这个声音用的是这个声音区域啊，也就是用我们另外一个叫做Waller，另外一个叫 Waller 系统的一个系统来去实现这个声音。等会儿 Colin 会讲详细的。
Do you have the Walla notion here? Okay. Okay. Moving on to Colin.
下面就交给 Colin。
Okay, so we've heard about some of the ways that we use ambience creatively to build this living world. Now I'll talk about how we implement this technically.
那刚才我们也说了怎样去用这个 ambience 环境声来去创造一个这个鲜活的世界。那现在我们就来看一下怎样用这样的一个系统来去实现这个声音。
It's important to note that for the initial release of The Witcher, there were no dedicated audio programmers, so the implementation of Wwise was done by members of the engine and gameplay coding team.
那实际上我想说一点，就是说我们在这个巫师3刚发售的时候，我们是没有这个专职的音频程序员的，所以说这个声音的实现一开始是由我们的一些这个游戏引擎的人员，还有包括一些这个管玩法的这个人员去兼职实现的。
And so the approach that we took to allow us to have a detailed and fully fledged soundscape was to try and give as much control to the sound designers as possible using Wwise.
那我们所实现这样的一种丰富的声音的这个方法，就是说我们尽量让我们的这个声音设计师啊，他们能够更好的去控制我们的这个声音的系统。我们就是用 Wwise 来实现这一点。
This means that the vast majority of sounds in the game involve some amount of manual setup and implementation by the sound designers, and typically for ambience by volume triggers and point emitters.
也就是说呢，我们在这个游戏里的大部分的这个声音啊，很多都是由我们这个人来去手动进行设置和实现的。然后在我们这边 Wwise 之中是用这个音量触发和点声源来去实现。
And after the initial release, we produced 2 further episodes, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. And for these games, we had actually 2 audio coders, which allowed us to develop the systems further.
然后之后我们发售了2个就是大的这个 DLC 啊，叫做剧集更新啊，一个是时之心，一个是血与酒。那这个时候我们就有2个这个专职的音频程序员，这样的话我们可以进一步的去开发我们这个音频的系统。
And the version of Wwise that we shipped on was from 2013. And we did look at increasing this to a more recent version for the episodes, but technically this wasn't possible.
而我们在一开始的时候啊，就是我们在发售的时候，在一开始开发的时候用的这个 Wwise 的版本是2013 2.9这样的一个版本，所以现在当然也是更新了，当时我们是没有办法去用这些功能实现之前的一些就是我们的想法的。
So one thing that was very important to us that the sound designers had as much control as possible. For this, we didn't put a limit on the shapes that could be made.
那其中我们之前说的一点想法就是说，我们要尽可能给我们这个声音设计师、音效设计师有尽可能多的这个控制权，所以我们这边就是没有去限制他怎样去创造这个环境声区域。
This meant that the sound designers had a lot of flexibility and were able to create powerful sound systems without the help of a programmer.
那这样的话呢，就是说是我们可以让我们的这个音效设计师在没有这个程序员的帮助之下，能够去做出来就是比较有灵活性的，而且比较强大的这样的一种环境声域。
And to further help this, we reused the same code from the ambient and the ambient areas in several systems.
而且呢，我们会把这个环境声域的这样的一些这个代码，就是重复的运用在不同的系统之中。
So the ambient areas are flexible and very powerful in the hands of sound designers, but that also does come with a price, and they can be expensive.
那我们也知道，这个环境声域啊是非常灵活也非常强大的，但是它也是有代价的，就是说我们可能会比较昂贵。
In order to help with this, we used an optimized quad tree to store the areas.
那为了要去改善这个情况呢，我们就用了一个优化的这个4叉树，就是这个象限树来去进行这个优化。
The top level of the quad tree had a grid, a resolution of 1 kilometer.
那最大的这样的一个一个网格啊，就是1公里这样的一个长度。
And the tree goes 8 levels deep, giving us 4 by 4 meters at the bottom node.
而这个因为它是分8个层级的这种大小，最小的一种是4乘以4的这样的一个网格，4米乘以4米这样的一个网格。
And we store the bounding boxes directly in the leaves and the nodes as an optimization. We store the bounding boxes of the areas directly in the nodes and the leaves of the tree.
就是说，我们直接把这样的一个网格，直接是放在了我们这个象限树的每一个的这个节点之上。
So when we're inside of an ambient area, the sound of the ambience will follow the listener.
那我们在一个环境声域里面的时候呢，那周围的这个声音啊，它是会跟随着我们这个听的这个位置的。
So we move and the sound moves with us.
也就是说，我们在玩家移动的时候，这个声音也会跟着我们一起移动。
And also, although the speaker is above the character here, actually the position is between the camera and the player.
那我们看到这边虽然这个音效的这个图标是在这个人上面啊，实际上它这个音效的位置是在我们这个 玩家角色和我们这个就是镜头之间的。
And as we move outside of the zone, the sound will be clamped to the closest edge.
而当我们就是走出这个环境声域的时候呢，这个声音的来源就是贴到了我们这个环境声域的边缘。
So we move from a sound that feels like it's surrounding the player to one that has directionality.
就是说如果我们在环境声域里面的话呢，这个声音感觉像是在我们周围；如果我们要走出这个环境声域之外，我们就感觉这个声音是来源于某一个方向的。
And then as we move around outside, the sound will also follow along the edge.
那如果我们在这个环境声域外面移动的时候，这个声音的来源呢是贴着这个环境声域的边缘，也是跟着我们这个就是听者来去移动。
Additionally, in the episodes, we added a distance parameter for these sounds.
那本来在一开始的时候，我们对于这样的一个声音的距离也是有这样的一个参数的。
And this is something that is supported natively in later versions of Wwise, but as we had an earlier version, it was useful that we could add this support for the sound designers.
当然，在后面这个 Wwise 有这些更新之后，我们就不太需要这样的一个参数。但是在一开始比较早期的版本，我们是需要这样的一个距离参数的。
One of the things in the base game that we really wanted to improve on was the sound of crowds.
在我们这个一开始游戏本体发售的时候，我们想要去改进一个东西，就是我们这个人群的这样的一个声音。
With the base ambient system, we could have the sound of a crowd, but not have it pan correctly with the listener.
那在我们这个基础版本的就是开发的时候呢，我们也是可以去做这个人群的声音，但是没有办法是非常精确的就展现它的这个位置和环绕感。
And also, it wouldn't respond correctly to the actual number of NPCs around the player.
而且它没有办法去根据我们周围的玩家周围的这个 NPC 的数量来进行这个响应。
So we'll look at a little demo of this.
我们给大家看一个这个小的 demo。
They come on a culture protection.
Something witchy? Was that truly necessary? And our nuts, chapel liver?
Do you know the colors I would see on the Duchy's banners? Red, white, and rosy.
Three couplets, none of which are suitable to show myself in.
To do this, we are counting the actors in 4 directions from the listener.
那这个是剧集更新之后，我们就可以做到这一点，就是说我们可以去看这个就是玩家，就是说这个角色，他4个方向的这个人数各有多少，然后我们来计算它的这个声源。
We generate parameters for the number of actors in each quadrant and the average distance of the actors.
我们会去计算每一个这4个方向的象限里面的这个人数，还有他们的这个平均到我们这个角色的距离。
And we also take account of whether the actors are outside or inside and whether they are afraid or in a normal state.
而且我们会去考虑，就是这样的一些不同的 NPC， 他们是在室内还是在室外，还有说他们的这个情绪是不是感到害怕的这种。
In the sound, this translates to we have a louder sound in zones where we have more actors and where they are generally closer to the listener.
那我们看到，就是说，如果是一大群人啊，就是在某一个方向上，我们可以把它整合成一个比较大的声音。如果说他们是比较接近的话，就是这样子。
But also, if an actor is very close, then this value will bleed into the other quadrants.
但是如果说这个发声的声源真的离这个就是我们的这个角色非常近的话呢，这个声音也会就是同时就是流入到其他的这个象限里去。
And when we are considering the afraid actors, if this value jumps quickly, we have an extra stinger to add some extra interest.
那如果说是有一些就是非常害怕的这个惊慌的一些 NPC 出现的话，我们也会去额外添加一个插播的这个音效来去加在这个音效里面。
As the player or the listener moves out of the area, we still calculate from the position of the listener, but the sound will get clamped to the edge of the area.
那如果说我们这个角色已经走出这样的一个声域之外，我们还是会去计算这边的这个人声的人的多少，然后来去做这个音效。但是呢，这个音效还是说是来源于这个声域的一个边缘。
And because we like to reuse our code as much as possible, we found several different ways to apply this in the game.
因为我们喜欢去重新使用我们就是之前已经做好的一些代码，所以我们也是把这样的一种方式用在了很多的这样的一些情况下。
So we'll return to the example of the crickets from earlier, but this time look at the debug information that we have.
那我们之前也是听到了这个蟋蟀声啊，所以我们这边可以再去听一下这样的一个情况，而且我们可以去参照刚才这个系统来去做更详细的展示。
And we can see how we've used the system to have the 4 positioned quadrant sounds.
我们可以看到用这样的一个展示给大家看一下，我们怎样去看这4个象限里不同的这样的一个声源的展示。
Another time we were able to use this was to have Walla in the combat.
还有一个运用的地方就是说我们在战斗之中可以去用这个 Walla 系统。
And this means that we could have an increasing intensity that follows dynamically as the enemies move around you.
而且呢，我们可以去把这个声效的这个强度加强，因为这个可能说是对面的敌人在不断的包围我们，而且不断在周围移动，是非常动态的一个过程。
And also, as you kill the enemies, the sound can decrease.
还有就是，当我们去杀掉敌人的时候呢，我们这个声音也会慢慢的去减小。
Assuming you're good enough to kill the enemies.
当然，前提是你得能把他们杀掉。
As we've mentioned, all of the ambient areas require manual setup by the sound designers.
那我们之前也说了，就是我们需要有音效设计师来去自己来生成这个环境声域。
And this can be quite intensive, so we wanted to try and provide some code support for this.
但是如果这么做的话，就是它的这个负担就比较大，所以我们希望能够做一些代码，能够帮助他们来自动生成。
And our idea was to have an offline area generation tool.
我们就想要有一个离线的这个环境区域生成器。
So we did this for trees and for rivers.
我们是对于树木和河流都做了这样的一点。
And our general approach was to draw a large area and compare this to a sampled grid of the world.
那我们主要的方式呢，就是画出来这样的一个区域，然后去对比我们这个世界的这个网格。
So here we have the initial area, which is drawn by a sound designer on the left.
我们在左边呢，就是由我们这个这个音效设计师来去画出来的这样的一片区域。
And on the right, we can see the grid where we've sampled the points of water.
而在右边呢，我们就看到有不同的这个网格点，在这地方呢，我们去取样了不同的这样的一个河流里的水的位置。
We then intersect these, and we can create very quickly a complicated area that maps this.
然后我们把这两个进行一个拟合、一个重合，就可以去得到一个非常复杂的一个声域了。
And also we have parameters on the area generation to allow different shapes or numbers of areas to be created.
而且呢，我们在这个区域里面可以去产生不同形状的这样的一个声域，也可以去产生多重的好几个的这样的一个声域。
We were able to reuse this knowledge from the process of creating a sample grid also to help us with procedural foliage.
那由于我们之前有这样的一个取样网格的这样的一个方式，所以我们可以把那个方式用在我们就是生成一个用程序来生成我们这个树叶声的这样的一个方式。
So, for example, bushes and grass and flowers that were generated at runtime, we wanted to be able to have sounds as the player moves through them.
就比如说我们在游戏的运行的时候，就是程序所生成的这样的一些草啊、灌木啊，或者是花啊，这样的话，我们这个角色在经过的时候，也希望它能够产生这个声音。
Go, go.
And this system was effective for about 60% of the procedural foliage in the game.
那这样的一个系统，它可以识别出就是我们程序中所生成的大概60%的这样的一些植物。
Again, we like to reuse our systems, so we also use the ambient areas for triggering our music.
然后呢，因为我们非常喜欢去把我们已有这个系统进行重复使用啊，所以我们在音乐上也用了我们这样的一个 Ambience 的环境声的这个系统。
Typically, a bass music would be triggered in the same way as ambience as you enter a world.
那基本上来说，我们这个基础的音乐也是就像是环境一样，在一开始进入游戏的时候就已经是触发了。
And then we use a combination of enter and exit events on the ambient areas, along with switches and states to provide context.
然后呢，我们也是通过这个环境声域的这个进出，或者说这样子来去触发这个新的这个音乐，触发不同的事件。同时，它的这个具体情境也是用这个 switch 和 state 来去提供的，就包括这样后面的一些这个分别啊。
So, for example, the difference we want to highlight between the living world and the quests, between day and night, and between exploration and combat.
就像后面写的这个有平时或者是任务的状态，还有昼和夜的分别，还有探索和战斗之间的分别。
The base system is very simple. You enter an area, it triggers one event. You exit an area, it triggers a different event.
这个概念是非常简单，就是我们进入一个环境声域的时候，就是它会触发一个事件，然后在离开这个区域的时候呢，它又停止这个事件，然后触发一个新的事件。
And the sound designers can then build complexity using these primitives.
然后我们这个音效设计师呢，他可以去基于这样的一个理念去设计更为复杂的一些这个逻辑。
So, for example, here the second area inside is both stopping the first music and starting a new one.
就比如说是我们这个区域2里面，就是停掉我们在区域1里面刚开始放的这个音乐，然后开始放一段新的这个音乐。
Again, on the episodes, as we had extra coding support, we wanted to try and provide some assistance to the sound designers with creating the zones.
而且因为我们在这个新的剧集的时候，就是我们新的2个 DLC 的时候，我们有了新的一些代码嘛，我们也希望有一些新的方式来帮助我们的这个游戏人员来去进行这个声域的这样的一个触发的设计。
We had a common situation when passing the entrance of a cave that would require some complex setup.
也有的时候可能说是我们有一些复杂的设置，然后要通过一个门。
And instead we provided a custom zone type that triggered an event when crossing halfway through a zone and the exit event as coming back the other direction.
那因为之前所说的那个方法过于复杂，所以我们经常会把它简化成，就是我们就是穿门穿到一半的时候触发一个事件，然后呢从门里出到一半的时候再去就是把这个事件终止。
It's important, as with all our systems, that our music is dynamic.
那就像所有其他的系统一样，我们这个音乐也必须要是非常动态的。
And so we used an intensity parameter to blend between 3 separate stems of the same track.
然后呢，我们有把一个音轨就分成3个部分啊，然后通过我们这个紧张度的这样的一个设置来去用这3个不同的音轨来去把我们的这个音乐变得更为动态。
And this let us control the intensity moving through different narratives and also when moving around the world.
这样的话呢，我们在这个不同的这个叙事的情况下，还有在我们这个世界不同区域探索的时候，我们这个音乐也会不同。
And we can get a lot of variety out of a single piece of music.
而且这样的话呢，我们同样的一个音轨的这个音乐也可以去变得非常多种多样。
Similarly, for combat, we had dynamic levels, and these were based on the difference in level between the player and the enemies he's facing.
然后我们战斗也是一样，这个音乐也是非常的动态，然后主要是根据这个威胁度来去判断的，就是说我们这个主角跟这个敌人的这个等级差是怎样的。
And we call this mechanic threat.
那这个就是说我刚才说的叫做战斗危险度的这样的一个机制。
So we'll look at an example where we have a narrative scene that is being controlled by intensity, and this is then moving into some combat.
那我们看到这就是一个例子，它是一个动态的音乐，它是有一个叙事，然后后面紧接着是一个战斗，我们可以看它的音乐怎么表现。
Easy, Cleaver.
Orson Jr.'s a dead man. I'll have my scribe send you a notice.
You don't have a scribe, and we'll eliminate Junior when, and only when, all of us say aye. Reuven, your guest.
Why the fuck you let him in here?
because I want to talk to him. This is Geralt of Rivia.
Good to see you again.
As always, I'm out the swiving loop. Who the fuck are you?
Think I'll let your host introduce me.
He's a witcher, the very one who first foiled an attempt on Foltest's life and then killed that monarch.
Allegedly. But I didn't kill Foltest. And hello to you too, Dijkstra, Rovin, whatever they call you these days.
Last we met, Geralt thrashed me silly and crushed my ankle. I really wonder what he's got in store this time.
Got intruders. Someone just snuck inside the bathhouse. Several men.
What the fuck's he on about? Ploughing fortune teller?
Assassins! Please, no! Ah!
Bloody hell. I fucking knew it.
Any weapons tucked away?
Just a few. First ever party with my prick hanging out. Ah! God damn it!
Mistake.
So as you can see, we're changing the intensity there, and the timing of those changes will vary depending on the choices of the player through the dialogue.
那我们可以看到，就是在我们这个音乐的过程中，它这个强度和这个紧张度是有所变化的，也是要根据这个玩家在对话中的这个选择有所不同的。
One of the things we were most excited about working on the episodes was the new concept of combat music sync.
我们最为激动的就是在我们这个剧集 DLC 里面的新的一个要素，就是我们这个战斗音乐同步的机制。
So we'll take a quick look at that.
我们来稍微看一下。
I shall make plenty of you!
So the idea for this was actually inspired by the Witcher books.
其实这个想法是源于这个巫师的这个原著的。
In the original books, Geralt is described as being such an incredible fighter that it looks like he's dancing when he fights.
因为在原著里面啊，描述格洛特的时候，就是说是他是非常善于战斗的，所以他在战斗中看起来就像是一个舞蹈家一样。
And we felt that one of the best ways to portray this would be if we could have the combat and the music synced together.
所以我们想最好的一种表现方法就是说，我们要把这个战斗和这个音乐来进行这种同步。
On the face of it, this almost seemed like an impossible dream.
就是表面上看来，好像这个事情是无法实现的一个梦想啊。
For an action-adventure game like ours, the idea of having the gameplay synced to the music was very alien.
那就是一般来说做这个动作冒险类游戏啊，想去把这个玩法和我们这个音乐来进行同步，看起来是感觉非常奇怪的一种做法。
In the end, though, we came up with the idea that we could actually force the monsters, the enemies, to attack the player at the correct time in the music.
那后来呢，我们就是用了一个别的方法，就是说我们让我们的这个 AI， 我们的这个敌人啊，在正确的这个节拍上来去攻击我们的主角。
And this means that if the player is fighting correctly, they themselves will be timing themselves with the music.
也就是说是这样的话呢，我们如果说玩家操纵的正确的话，他们就正好会在自己的应该做的这个事情上，在节拍上去进行这个操作，就感觉玩家好像和音乐同步了。
This was actually quite a hard thing to convince our gameplay designers that we should be allowed to do.
这个也是很难去劝服我们玩法设计师去做的一件事情啊。
But once we were able to show them a prototype of this working, they also became quite excited about the possibilities.
后来呢，我们也给他们展示了一个就是我们的原型设计啊，他们看了这个范例之后，也是觉得还是比较激动的，也是有点愿意尝试了。
The basis of the system is that we request callbacks from the music in Wwise for the bars, the beats, and the grid.
那我们的基础的一个做法就是说，从我们这个Witcher 这个巫师中的音乐啊，从这个小节节拍和网格中进行这个回调。
when we receive an event callback, we use that to predict a number of beats in the future that the next bar or beat or grid will occur.
那我们就是通过这样的一个回调的时候的这样的一个小节和节拍来去预测，在多少个小节或节拍之后会有下一次的这样的一个事件和下一次的这个回调出现。
And for the beat, we have the beat duration, which lets us translate that to time.
然后，因为我们有这个节拍的这个时间啊，所以我们就能够通过这个节拍来去算出来我们这个时间。
It's important to do it this way, counting beats rather than time, because if we only look at the time, for example, for a grid which could be 13 seconds, we can have some drift during that period waiting for the next grid.
The frame dip.
Yeah.
就是我们为什么要去算节拍，而不是去算时间呢？因为如果我们算一格的这个时间，一格时间一般13秒，但是在这个过程中，可能由于这个战斗的时候的这个帧率的一个下跌啊，可能导致最终的这个时间是对不上的。
So we created conditional nodes that could fit into the AI behavior trees that would request the music for the next time at which a sync would be available.
那我们就是通过这个 AI 的设置这个条件啊，就是给这个 AI 的这个我们的这个事件数里面去加上一些这个条件，就是说是我们这个 AI 会等待这个下一次的节拍，就是能够同步它的这个攻击。
And the AI provides the music system with an offset which represents the time from the start of the animation to the point in which we want to sync.
那就是说是这样的话，我们就会有一个补偿机制，就是说从我们这个AI 的敌人啊，在攻击的时候到这个动画结束。真正的应该开始这个音乐同步的那一瞬间进行一个同步。
So obviously, when we're syncing, we actually want to sync on the impact rather than the wind up.
也就是说是在敌人攻击挥舞这个，比如挥舞武器的时候，我们希望是最终在他砸到这个角色或者砸到地面的时候进行同步，而不是说在他开始挥的时候进行同步。
Of course, it's very important that we don't actually break the gameplay by doing this.
当然，我们肯定不能就是说为了做这件事情把玩法给破坏了。
So we have a number of systems to try and mitigate that possibility.
所以我们是有一些其他的系统来保证，就是去缓解这样的一种可能性。
At the bottom here, you can see the grey bar. This is an event that AI has called for and then has decided that it is not interested in.
那我们看到下面有一个灰色条啊，就是本来是 AI 要做的一件事情，但是最终是取消了的。
And also, you can see that the AI has requested several different sync events, and then we'll choose from all of those.
而且我们可以看到，在这么多条之中，我们可以看到 AI 是有很多次的这样的可以去这个同步的这个机会，但是它从中会选取一个同步的机会来进行同步。
The AI also supplies a maximum time that it is willing to wait until sync.
而且呢 ，AI 也会有一个就是在同步之前的一个最长的等待时间的这样的一个参数来提供出来。
And if the time to the next sync point is longer than that, the music system immediately returns true.
那么如果说是在等待下一次的这个同步时间超过了这个最大的时间，它会直接就会开始同步。
We actually wanted to take this even further than we managed to in the episode.
而且实际上我们一开始的想法就是在剧集里面，我们想要实现的是比我们真正做到的要更多一些的。
We began implementation on a system that would let us play stingers, which would then again react to the sync points of the animations.
而我们是本来想在里面加一些这个插播乐句，这个插播乐句也是就是根据我们这样的一个同步的这个时间点来进行响应的。
Unfortunately, we ran out of time for this, but considering that it started off as something impossible for us, we're pretty happy with the result.
但是由于最后时间有限啊，所以我们没有去做到这一点。但是我们看一开始我们觉得这样的一种想法是不可能实现的，那最终我们是做到这个地步，我们已经是非常满足了。
So now you know how it works. We'll just take another look at that video showing the music sync.
那因为我们已经知道这个原理了，所以我们再回头看一遍它是怎样起作用的。
I shall make plenty of you!
Okay, sure. And we'd like to invite you to ask questions.
如果有问题大家可以提啊。
Please wait for the microphone.
稍微等一下，先拿到麦克风再说话。
想提问的请举手。你好，我想问一下关于那个环境音效的一个多边遮罩，这个在程序方面它是怎么样子去预算、去那个计算的呢？
How do we calculate?
就是那个环境，它不是有个遮罩吗？然后它会自动生成的那个一个区域不规则的多边形。
您说的就是在环境边缘的那个。
对对对，那个不规则的多边形，它是
arbitrary shape of.
怎么生成的
How do you generate that? The edge.
For the automatic generation or the standard generation?
您说的是这种自动生成，还是说是？
自动生成，自动生成。
So, okay, now you've put me on the spot.
问得好，问得好。
Once we have the grid, which defines which parts of the world are either tree or water, depending on the system we're looking at.
因为我们不是有这个世界有网格嘛，就可以看到哪个网格是树，哪个网格是水，对吧？
We begin a standard convex hole build, walking around the edges of this. Convex hole. So we basically walk around the edge.
You mean you walk around?
No, the algorithm. Sorry.
Okay. 那算法呢就会自动去算这个区域的边缘，就是说水和树的交界什么这样的一些边缘。
And depending on the parameters, that can limit the maximum angle that each turn can take.
然后根据这个不同的参数和算法，它可以去确认就是每一个这个边线它最大的角度是多少，这样子。
Or the maximum size of the area, for example.
它也可以去确认，就是说是最大一个区域有多大，这样子。
This system was actually coded by the other audio programmer.
它实际上这个东西是另外一个音效的这个程序员去做的。
So I have a limited depth of knowledge on that.
所以我就是所知有限啊。
Does that answer your question?
这个您能满足吗？这个答案？
Following his question, I have another question. In my concept, that if we trigger the sum of bushes, we put a mesh collider on these models. But you guys generated a grid. Is that used for get more accurate edges of those model?
您能再用中文重复一下您的问题？
我说，就是说，在我的观念中，触发这个树叶这些音效都是把一个发声体嵌在这个模型上的，而在他们团队里面是拿这个网格进行这种编排的，是不是为了让这个树的边缘更精密一点，就是出发的时候更精密一点，而不是很粗糙的只是一个圆形贴在这个模型上？
Well, it's something that helps with that, but actually, even with the basic areas, very accurate edges can be built. It just requires time from the sound designers.
就是说是有这个因素啊，但是就算是这种基础的这个区域，也是可以做出来非常精确的边缘，只不过是要花很多的这个音效设计师的时间。
就是说，总体上这种方法会更省时间一点，是
more time saving.
Yeah, exactly.
对对。
Okay. Another question is how do we draw the boundary of the area to generate the ambient sound?
就是怎样画这个环境区域的这个边是吧？
Does that the program give
No. That's handled by sound designers. Basically, what we have is a simple tool.
simple to develop by you guys?
由这个音效设计师来去做的，然后他是用一个非常简单的这个工具来做。
So what happens with the sound? We have a special box or a special zone that we can reshape, and it's on sound designers.
就是说是有一个小方框或者说是一个小区域，然后我们这个音效设计师可以去把这个区域来进行这个形状的改变。
This tool is called what?
We call those triggers ambient area triggers.
Ambient triggers.
Yeah.
Is a tool developed by your company or
Yes.
是他们公司自己做的 Ambient Trigger， 这个工具叫 Ambient Trigger。
So this is part of our engine. The way it looks like is initially a box, a cube or a rectangle is created, and then vertices can be added and manipulated.
OK， 就是说他们相当于是他们这个游戏引擎的一部分了。一开始是一个方框型的，然后可以去把它的这个边来进行拖动和改动，这样子。
So if we use the commercial engines, there will be no such tools just for sound designer to draw.
I guess you should be developing it.
就是说，真正要是一些商用的这个游戏引擎，可能就没有这个东西。然后我们这边 Chris 说，可能你来去开发一下可以。
Thank you very much.
But to add to that, like those triggers save us time. I am a sound designer. I place those triggers, and those are like huge helper for sound.
就是补充一下，就是有这样的一些触发器之后呢，就是非常的简单，也非常省时了。因为他是这个音效设计师嘛，所以自己去加这种东西的话是非常费时的。
I've been in a situation in which I have to place 3 or 4 boxes to get it done, and with this system, I just need 1 trigger, and it's all done, and it's precise.
就是原来可能说他要放什么3、4个这个方块才能做成的一件事，用这样的一个系统，他只要发一个触发器就可以了。
Thank you very much.
好的，谢谢。还有其他问题吗？这边的听众。
Don't be shy. You can ask about anything not regarding the presentation as well.
不用害羞啊，就是问到一些这个 PPT 不相关的也可以。
Okay, sorry, this is to do with the presentation though. I just wasn't sure what you meant when you had said the custom overrides were also hideable.
他就是问这个所谓的就是自定义的特殊的这种按需覆盖啊，什么叫做可以隐藏的？
So it's basically imagine that you're setting up a local trigger, for instance, shape of this room.
就比如说我们先设定了一个触发器啊，比如说是像我们这个房间这样的一个形状的一个区域。
And you put it in a special layer prepared for Quest Designer.
然后我们把它放到了一个特殊的层级上，然后给了我们的这个任务设计师他们去准备去给他们使用。
You can have any type of custom sound you want, and you can unhide it where it's actually needed.
然后呢，你可以在上面添加任何层级的，就是你需要的这个声音，然后在合适的条件触发的情况下，你可以把这个隐藏去掉，就让它呈现出来。
It was actually a crucial functionality for us for a nonlinear game when you can have multiple solutions and multiple situations.
这个对于我们这种非线性的开放世界游戏是非常重要的，因为有可能为了达成一个目的，我可以有很多种的这个路径，很多种的方式去完成，所以有可能说是就是在某种情况下我需要这个，有某些情况下同一个区域不需要这个这样子。
And sometimes it's a huge pain in the ass to debug it and set it up properly.
而且有时候去这个 debug 也是非常大的一个挑战，因为比较复杂嘛。
Thanks.
还有问题吗？
I want to ask a question about the vegetation sound. So how do you make the vegetation sound? Like in the forest, the forest rustle should be different from the rustle in the grass. So how do you make this vegetation sound happen?
他就是问这个植被声音的这个问题，就是说我们森林里的音效怎么和这个草原的这个音效有所区别？
As you see here, we have a couple of types, like only copy a couple of types of forests.
那在这边我们是有几个就是不同的这个树林、森林的这样的一些音效的素材。
And it's divided on the size of the forest and the character of the forest as well.
这是根据这个森林的这个大小和森林这个特点有不同的。
You even have a dedicated layer for the creeks only. You have a dedicated layer for the creeks, tree creeks.
然后就是还有根据这个树木的这个摇晃的这个声音也有分的。
Just to show you some example.
大家听一些这个例子啊。
So it goes down.
这边声音就下来了。
Those are more leaves in character.
这边就是叶子多一点的这种树的声音。
And of course, you have the additional layer for the trees itself.
还有就是对于树本身也加一层这个声音。
It was set up by blend containers just to have the smooth transitions and not to feel that something's abrupt.
当然是要把它放在这个混音容器里，让它这个过渡的更自然一点，而不是说非常的突然。
And it's pretty much a complex system of writing the volume for wind exterior and like wind interior in the forest.
就是有点像是在这个树林里面去操纵这个就是室内室外音效的大小这样子。
So anytime you have a local override, you might have an additional sound and control of the global wind.
所以说我们就会有这种本地的覆盖发生，然后再去控制这个树林中的这个声音的各种大小。
Sorry, first of all, actually I want to ask how you implementing this sound in the like the engine. Do you use the sound shape or add a layer or something?
就是说在引擎中怎么实现的？是增加这个声型，还是说是用什么样的一个方法？
Basically, all what you see here in Wwise is implemented through those boxes that Colin showed you. We call those ambient triggers.
就是由我们 Colin 之前所说的这个各种的方块来去执行的，就是所谓的这个环境的这个触发器。
So in those boxes, you can control what is being played, what sort of parameter change is going to be there, and what sort of, for instance, reverb bleed can there be for a next region.
就是说是它在这样里面可以控制各种参数啊，包括这个声音啊，还有包括就是什么时候开始在哪一个节拍进行这个混响啊等等。
So that when you go out of the forest, you still have the reverb of the forest, and it blends with the next reverb a bit.
也就是说，我们就跑出这个森林之后，这个森林这个混响还是在我们这个音效中出现，然后直到就是下一个节拍慢慢就淡出了这样子。
And those boxes are for any type of custom ambience and wallas, and you may even load sound banks with those. So you may even manage your data.
Okay, thank you very much.
对，它就可以用于我们的 Walla 系统，或者是我们这个环境音，而且你甚至可以去建立这个你们自己的这个自定义的这个声音素材库，就是也就是说，它可以去管理你们自己的这个音频素材的数据都可以。
The one exception to that would be the procedural foliage in Blood and Wine. So for different levels of grass, for bushes, and for flowers.
就比如说有一个例外就是我们之前说这个血与酒里面所说的这样的一个程序，这个生成的这个树叶的机制，它是有分，比如说是矮草、高草，还有这个花什么这样的一些。
你好，我刚才就是有个问题是，刚才已经说到了，音乐通过那个网格区域来让它进行触发。那如果是玩家在玩的过程中，如果是比如说我玩的过程中会在某一个点来回走动，或者是来看风景，然后那个点正好是又在那个触发那个区域的附近。比如说我大概是来回走动，在这个出发点前后来回走动，那这个音乐它要怎么做一个 fade in fade out 的一个触发呢
？So I think you can have some overlap of these areas, so that when you go into one, there's a hysteresis. You won't immediately just flip back and forth.
就是说，你可以做一个重叠的区域啊，这样的话你。就是触发这个的时候，它可以做一个淡进淡出啊，不是马上就是进行开播这样子。一段缓冲区这样子，就是一个重叠区，就这样子。
Thank you very much.
On each triggering, you actually might trigger music or might trigger silence additionally. So you don't always, when you go between triggers, you actually have a probability of 50%. If it's exploration, 50% of triggering the music or 50% of having a silence there.
就是说你是在探索状态下呢，实际上就是有一种50%的情况，你有可能是触发的是就是音乐，或者说是有50%的情况触发的是这种就是无声的这样的一个情况。
And remember, we have 100 hours of gameplay with huge, big, epic worlds, so it's uncontrollable, I'd say.
而且你们也知道，我们这个总体的这个主线的剧情大概有100小时嘛，所以有的时候确实是很难去控制所有的点了。
Should say as well that Wwise gives us a lot of power in terms of when music will transition. So you can use this as well to make sure that it's not sounding shit.
就是还有一点就是Wwise 也是给我们很强大的这个控制能力啊，就是让我们能够去用很多种方式来去进行这个音乐的这个触发，所以我们可以用这样的功能，免得这个音乐显得非常突兀。
And to add to that, for our last expansion pack, we've listened to the fans and tried even to get less and less music on the exploration and more in quests, just to get you the breather there. So we kind of admit that there was too much music in Witcher. But we wanted to maintain the stylistic approach and wanted to boost the ambiences for a bit, just to make sure that sound designers get some credit as well, and they are recognizable guys, not only composers.
就是说是因为我们这个巫师在这个我们新的这个剧情包里面，就是我们尽量是减少这个探索时候的这个音乐量，尽量去增加这个任务里的这个音乐量，因为我们也知道，可能说是我们也不是想说就是我们原来这个 Witcher 的这个音乐过多了，因为我们还是想说是给我们这个音效这个设计师给他们一点功劳嘛，不然搞得好像他们就是做的不对一样这样子。
你好，我想请问一下，能不能简单给我们介绍一下您的 Master Mixer Hierarchy 是怎么设置的？就是这个混音母线，然后有没有使用一些 Real-time DSP plugins?
Did you use some real-time?
Yeah, thank you.
Plugins.
Use Master Mixer.
那个叫 Master.
Master Mixer Hierarchy，就是。
Can I show you?
Yes.
就是你想看一下是吧
？Yeah， 或者给我们简单的介绍一下它是怎么分配这个母线，或者怎么分配音响这些。Thank you.
Would you like to see it in private?
Yeah.
要不我们私下看。
Definitely.
要不我们私下看。
What would you like to see exactly?
你想看哪个
Yeah, everything. Maybe the real-time DSP plugin. What kind of plugin you use?
实时 ESP 插件。
Sneaky.
Nothing.
Oh, it's reverb. Fun
cool,
there.
Cool. Thank you.
We did use some DSPs for voices.
我们对于语音也是用一些 ESP 的。
But that's on the voice level, and it's a switch for the horse ride. So we added Wwise compression, and we added Wwise EQ.
我们这边加了这个 Wwise compression、Wwise EQ， 这是在我们在骑马的时候的。
So basically, what we did use was EQ, compression, a bit of a limiter, and then reverb, and that's it.
我们就是用一些这个 EQ 均衡啊，包括有一些这个混响啊，就是比较简单的一些了。
So those three effects were used on one bus for voice or one sound effect for voices, and that's it. So EQ, compression, and limiting were used only for VOs on horse, and that's it. We didn't use DSPs at all, except of the Wwise reverb.
就是实际上这个 Wwise 的只有在 Wwise Reverb 上面我们是用了这个 ESP 的，其他的这个3种特效我们主要就是用在这个语音上，没有去特别复杂。
We didn't use HDR as well.
也没有用 HDR。
I'm not sure. What do you want to have a greater look at?
我不知道你还想看哪个。
Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
This one is the most important gameplay master bus.
Maybe afterwards you want to come and have a dig through.
也许你可以等一下过来私下看一下。
Thank you.
你好，我想问一下，就是它这个游戏过程中，它有一个就是最大复音数的这个概念吗？
最大的什么？
最大复音数就是比如说我战斗场就是这个过程中，它可能就同时会发出很多声音。
There are a lot of sounds. So is there like a maximum sounds limit?
Yes.
有的。
So for combat and animations, you actually have limits connected to distance in animation in our global in our editor.
在我们这样的一个编辑器中是有的，就是我们在这个战斗动画的过程中是有这个限制数的。
So we are limiting the amount of sounds that go into Wwise before actually Wwise receives it.
就是我们会限制进入 Wwise 的这个声音数，就是在进入 Wwise 之前已经限制了。
The mix further on is controlled by a proper level, so you don't have anything boosted that loud.
然后我们是在一个就是特定的这个层级上进行混音的。
And we're basically trying to get a quiet sounding game so that you have high spikes of dynamics and it feels raw and impressive. So we are having a quiet game because we want to have the impacts on the weapons, so you have high dynamic range.
而且我们希望能够表现这个武器撞击的声音，所以我们这个动态范围也是比较高的。
And the limit of how much enemies is controlled by our gameplay designers, that is very important. That if they feel that it's too much, they are just like limiting how much opponents you can have sometimes.
而在这个敌人数量上，这个主要是由我们的玩法设计来去决定的。就是有时候他们觉得这边太多了，他们也会去控制人数。
And sometimes you have just way too much stuff in there. Sorry.
有的时候确实里面也会有太多的这个声音数。
还有一个问题 ，one more question.
I have something to say about the past question if you're interested.
补充第一个问题。
Okay, so from the code perspective, we did have initially some high maximum level, but importantly, the sound designers managed to keep this voice count under control, even in quite extreme situations. So we weren't using, for example, global priorities to drop sounds, although sometimes on a voice itself, there could be a limit, and either newer or older sounds could be kicked out.
那就是说我们在代码上是有一个最大数的限制，但是主要还是靠我们这个音效设计师来去自己去控制这个声音数目。然后呢，我们并不是说在我们这个全局的一个优先级上有这样的一个安排啊，就是说，然后主要还是说是我们有，比如说有在这种极端这个情况下，我们希望就是音效设计师能够控制它的数目。如果说真的有的话，可能说是旧的声音就把它掐掉，新的声音进来这样。
我想知道，他为了控制这种行为的情况下，是否用到了一些闪避处理，就是 ducking， 这种 dynamic ducking 这种。
Oh, here you have an example that we use for some voices. There's one cool thing called signs, and
这边有一个叫 signs 的。
If you have played the game, you can hear art, for instance, that it ducks the ambiences.
Hear what?
Art.
It's a name.
Yeah, it's a name.
Art. OK. 就是在你玩过游戏的话，里面有一个叫 art 这样的。
这是游戏中一个特殊的法印 art 推掌的这个动作，记得吧？
对。
Yeah, so we wanted the low end on art to be very, very pronounced, so we had to duck the ambience a bit, just not to add too much mid-range punch, but to have the low end like clean and pillowy, I'd say.
就是说那个是法印系统应该是，然后就是避免说是有一个这种中间的这种撞的这个声音，而是有更就是干净一点的这种推掌的这个声音。
But we usually didn't use. Sorry.
就是用了这个避让的这个方法。
We didn't usually use any ducking at all or HDR.
但平时我们一般不用这个避让，或者是用 HDR。
OK, thanks.
提示一下，大概还有8分钟时间。
Hi, me again. About the dynamic music for the comeback sense, you guys said in order to match the players' movement with the stingers, you designed that monster to match the match the Stinger's beat, right? So if the players keep away from the monsters and keep running from him, it looks like the monster matched the beat, not the player matched the beat. So how to
就是说，他问的问题就是说，我们在战斗之中这个动态音乐嘛，就是说我们这个不是跟这个怪物的这个攻击或者敌人的攻击来进行同步的嘛，就是有这个插播句。但是如果说我们玩家就是不去攻击他，跑得远远的，一直在跑的话，那看起来就感觉像是并不是玩家跟这个音乐同步，而是怪物的攻击在跟音乐同步了。这个怎么解决
？Yeah, no, it's a good point, and it's basically just the way it has to be. If we force the player to have his attacks actually timed with music, then we have a music rhythm game, which is not the game that we're.
那这个就没有办法，因为它本来就这么设置的。如果我们要去强迫玩家根据这个音乐的节奏来去打的话，那就像是一个音乐游戏了，是吧？
So what we want more is a feeling of something cinematic happening.
就是我们想要做的就是有一个这种电影化的效果出来就可以了。
So those design are for the normal combat scenes, not the very weird guys, right?
Sorry, once again?
I mean the design is just for the normal players who engage the combat, not the escaper, right?
就是说，这个设计主要是针对于这种正常的玩家，不是那种特别怂的玩家，对吧
？Right?
Yeah. So for Blood and Wine, we had this on 2 of the buses, so it's limited in its implementation. But the thing is, if the player doesn't engage in this, it's not like the fight becomes cartoony. Okay, what we found actually is that you can try and push this very far without it looking wrong.
就是要点就在于说，即使说这个玩家就是比较就是怕，就一直在躲什么的，那在这样的一个情况下，他还是不会看起来好像就是很傻的这样的一种情况，就是就非常非常极端的情况下，他可能会有一点这个迹象，一般情况下都不会觉得感觉很傻。
So the worst case is it's more or less the same as it was without the sync, and the best case is it's really awesome.
就是最差的情况，也就是和原来的这种音乐系统效果差不多。那最好的系统就是说是比原来的这个出版游戏它的这个紧张感要强很多，这样子。
喂，你好，我有一个问题，就是一个很简单的问题。当我看到就是说，现在大多数游戏都采取一种形式，就是我是一个点状的音源，它拥有3个参数，一个距离、一个宽度和一个角度，这样来阐述一个声音跟我们一个听众之间的一个关系。但是我看到巫师3在这个游戏中，它采取了一种区域式的一个方式来描述一个音源。那么是什么样的考虑让你们去采取区域式的方式，而不是这种点状音源的一个方式呢？
Well, we do have the point emitters as well for localized, highly detailed locations. The idea behind the area is that in real life you can have sounds which are coming from big objects.
就是我们也其实有点声源啊，就是在一些复杂环境下，就是非常细节的一些这个声音啊，可以用这种方式表现。但是我们说这个声音区域的这个方式，就是说是我们在正常的生活中，经常会有一个声音是来源于一个非常大的一个声源的。
For example, if we're looking at a group of trees, normally we'll hear that sound as a group rather than as 1,000 point sources.
就比如说是一片大森林啊，我们听到的声音经常是就是说是一个集体发出来的这样的一个声音，而不是说是1000多个点发出来的这个声音。
So this is our way of being able to have a more immersive experience, a fuller sound, without having to individually have every single physical sound that would be played.
就是相当于我们是用这种方法，就是不需要去把每个点都做出来，就能够做出来一个比较沉浸化的这种声音的体验。
And you have to remember that the game is actually very effing big. So
而且我们还要记得游戏特别特别大，真的。
So you would kill yourself with emitters.
你要真的用点声源的话，你自己还不如就死了吧，就是。
That was the only way to get some sleep.
啊，你就只有这个方法，你才能晚上不加班，可以去睡觉，是吧？
就是还有就是这样的话，在你们采取区域的时候，我发现就是很多声音，我在某一个角度听到一个声音，它们都是具有一定的宽度的。它是这个宽度完全等于你这个区域在这个方向的一个边长吗？
提示一下。还有最后一个问题，但是大家不用担心，等一下大家还有机会私下问他们。所以说这个除了15分钟休息时间，最后整个活动完了之后还有一些时间，大家可以和 Witcher 团队交流，所以不用太担心。还有最后一个问题啊。
Okay, sorry. Okay. For The Witcher, we're not directly controlling the width of the sound versus the area there. The main thing is that when you're inside of the zone, you have a feeling of it surrounding you, and as you come outside, you begin to experience it as a point source. And there is some collapse there. It would be possible to use multiple emitters in Wwise to generate very accurate a width of these sounds, but at some point you might question how important that is.
就是说是我们在这个巫师3里面一般来说不会去具体的控制这个声音的这个宽度，主要是我们希望在这个声音区里面感到的是一个就是这种沉浸感的这种环绕式的这种声音，而真正你走出这个声音区的时候，你才会觉得这个声音是一个就是点的声源发出来的。当然你也可以去通过这个点声源的方式来去就是说你穿过这个区域的时候，确实可能会有一种什么这种声音的崩溃感啊。但是，如果说你用这种点声源的这个设计来去做一个宽度的话，也是可以做到比较精确的。但是这个时候你要去平衡一下，你就看这样的一个情况是不是足够重要到你需要去这么去做，还是说你去直接就按我们这种简单的方法做就好了。就是。
I'm not sure if I understood the question, but if you're asking about like the spread, about the triggers.
您说的是这个触发器的这样的一个散布吗？还是说是什么是
Okay, so inside you might have a surround sound, like a quad recording or stereo recording. Outside it goes into mono with the spread parameter in Wwise.
就是说是你在这个声音区域内的时候，你有点像是这种就是录音室这种工作室的这种环绕音，然后你出来了之后，就是相当于变成一种这种单声道的感觉，一个方向这样。
And for some crickets that we've showed you, this is actually divided. If you're going to look at this project, it's front left, front right, and then rear left, rear right. It's a quad recording.
就是我们看这个蟋蟀知了的这个声音啊，就是我们看这个工程上可以看到，它其实也是有分的，就是左前方、左后方，还有右前方、右后方。
It's divided on 4 mono files that actually allow us to put random containers also in, so just to add some movements and like add a big impression of a huge cricket zone.
也就是说，我们可以把它放到一个混音容器里面，然后这样子就是有不同的这个方向，这个4个东西是放在不同的4个声道的单声道的文件里，然后这样的话，我们把它放到这个混音容器里面，可以去进行加强、减弱啊，这样子的话，我们就可以感觉好像是听到了一大片的这个治疗的叫声嘛，这样子。
But still, all is mixed so that it folds down to mono properly, and you can track through the distance the direction in which you actually have a dedicated sound.
但是即使是这种复杂的这种混在一起的声音，你还是可以每一个都精确的跟踪到到底是在哪一个这个单声道上，你能知道去在哪一个这个方向上有这个声源，这样子。
好，
你好，
最后一个问题啊，
不好意思，我有2个相关的小问题。第一个问题是能否展示一下，就是工程里边这一些刚才提到的环境音效它们的优先级设置。然后还有一个是近距离点音源，譬如 NPC 说话时候的那个 attenuation 和 spread 的那个参数搭配。
Maybe you could like come and talk to us, and we're just gonna like leave you the laptop, and you can do whatever you wish.
就是最好还是回头那个你过来，我们把这个电脑交给你，你怎么看都行。
好，那个 Witcher 团队的环节就到此为止，我们有15分钟休息时间。好，感谢2位，感谢 Witcher 团队2位嘉宾的精彩演说哈。在3楼我们有那个给大家准备了一些小吃和饮品啊。